name's Hassan, and I am excited to be here presenting an award to Marvel Comics this evening. How cool is that? That's really cool. And they're here. It's not like being cut to video. They're here tonight. That's pretty amazing, right? Marvel Comics is home to legendary superheroes such as Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, and they announced in November 2013 that it would be introducing Kamala Khan, a teenage Muslim girl from Jersey City, New Jersey, as the comic book series' newest iconic Miss Marvel character. And you guys all have copies to the comic book, right? Everybody has a copy, Oprah style, right? You get a comic book. You get a comic book. You get a comic book. Even if you didn't clap earlier, you all get comic books. So it's such a simple but revolutionary idea. You include a typical Pakistani-American Muslim girl to the tapestry of legendary superheroes, and you give her superpowers. You make her seem ordinary, then find out that she's anything but ordinary. And it allows young Muslim girls to see themselves as something so much more than they've been represented in traditional media. And I think that's awesome, and I think everybody here thinks that's awesome. It lets them dream and imagine bigger possibilities for themselves, and that's what the new Miss Marvel can teach us. But don't take my word for it.
For 75 years, Marvel has been telling the tale of the outcast behind the mask. It's through his flaws and desires that we connect with the heart of the character, so that when he emerges as a hero, we have a real reason to champion him. Because we understand those struggles too, don't we? And we also want to move past them. Heroes make a choice to fight injustice, to protect the innocent, to put the balance back on the side of the good. Because we all want to be heroes, don't we? And wouldn't it be amazing if heroes looked just like us?
One thing I'm particularly excited about is the emergence of strong female characters in our books.
One of those books, Ms. Marvel, features a protagonist with a fresh new face.
Kamala Khan's a 16-year-old girl from Jersey City. She's a Muslim Pakistani American, but she's like every single other teenage girl out there. She's slightly awkward, she's shy, but she's also opinionated, and she feels like her parents are out to get her. She somehow finds herself with superpowers. And this story is about what happens when she gets these powers when she's already struggling with who she is and who she is meant to be. The all-new Ms. Marvel was the first Muslim American superhero to have her own series. I had created a character that I could identify with. And yet, it was quite possibly the biggest publicity Marvel had seen in quite some time. We had clearly tapped into something really powerful.
Amana says Kamala Khan was partially inspired by her own childhood.
The way that this story came about was very organic. There was no agenda. We walked into it out of a conversation with my senior editor, Stephen Wacker, about what it was like to grow up in this country as a Muslim American, figuring out who I am and what I believe in. Am I Muslim? Am I American? Am I Pakistani? I had all these questions rolling around in my head. For years, I had constantly measured myself against images that looked nothing like me. I didn't see myself in the TV, in the classroom, or in magazines. Names like Muhammad, Ahmed, Sharif, names I had grown up with all of my life, were equated with terms like terrorist, hate monger, enemy. I was angry at those men who had warped my faith into a vengeful weapon, and at the same time at the media for propagating those stereotypes. Suddenly, my face was everywhere with a big red X painted over it. Why did I feel so uncertain and insecure about my identity? Kamala Khan is so much larger than just a pop culture icon. She came together in response to that global subconscious desire for representation. Anyone else, regardless of their gender, sexuality, race, religion, who just feel like misfits themselves. So really, Kamala Khan's story is everyone's. It's about confronting the labels you've been assigned and sculpting them and redefining them until you figure out who you truly are and what you actually believe. Why not tell stories that are empowering and aspirational and challenge us to be better? Do not be satisfied with stories, that which has come before. Unfold your own myth. We must unfold our own myth.
Tonight's Voices of Courage and Conscious Media Award will be accepted by Miss Marvel co-creators Sana Amanat and Stephen Wacker. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
I guess I'll go first really quick. Comic book people don't get invited to things like this very much. So I'd like to thank MPAC for making me buy a suit. Thank you. It's Banana Republic, and I'm returning it tomorrow, if you're interested. Just real quick about the origins of Ms. Marvel. Sana used to work in my editorial group, and we would spend time every day listening to her stories, going on and on and on. And I was always, one of the things that fascinated me about Marvel was that it was the world outside your window, except it had superheroes. And what Marvel taught me was about a lot of different cultures and a lot of different worldviews throughout its 75-year history. I was not around for all 75. I was around for 25 of them. I came in the next day and I said, Sana, let's do that. Let's have a superhero for that little girl. Because we don't see them a lot in our books. And Sana took that idea and she ran with it, and with a brilliant creative team has come up with something that Marvel is incredibly proud of, just as we're proud of being associated with MPAC, and we thank you very much for the honor.
I didn't know they were going to show that video, and I'm wearing the exact same jacket. But I'm a comic book editor. I'm broke. I have one jacket. So yeah, that's what you guys get. On behalf of Marvel Entertainment and the creative team of Ms. Marvel, including G. Willow Wilson, Adrian Alfona, Ian Herring, and Joe Caramagna, I'd like to give a very sincere thanks to the Muslim Public Affairs Council for honoring us this evening with this very prestigious award. We're also very grateful for the support your organization and the larger Muslim community has been giving this book. It's been really amazing to see and to be a part of. And since behind every strong woman, there's a middle-aged and slightly grumpy white man. I'd like to give a very, very special thanks to my former senior editor, Stephen Wacker, the dapper Stephen Wacker, as we refer to him at the offices. Although I will say Muslim women do not really need a man, and you're very young. Yes, thank you. But in all seriousness, without Stephen's encouragement and support, Ms. Marvel would never really have been a reality. He's been such a great mentor to me because he's taught me how to tell stories with heart and with purpose. And for that reason, I will be one of his biggest fans. So Stephen, thank you so much. 1,000 years from now, I'm very short. I can't. This is covering my face, isn't it? 1,000 years from now, when man is studying the history of our civilization, and he finds such amazing accolades being given to a comic book character, I believe he'll be a bit confused because superhero stories and comic book characters are not necessarily what people expect them to be. You think that only nerdy people are going to be reading comic book stories, and it's so much more beyond that. It's such a powerful medium. Because I prefer to think that in the future, comics will be a part of our sacred texts. They'll be taught in schools, studied in literature classes, and become a part of our cultural discourse. And I know many of you here this evening are here because you understand how empowering and inspiring stories can be, how empowering and inspiring they should be. But at Marvel, we kind of take that on a different level because superheroes represent so much more of what we want to be, the best version of ourselves, found only after struggle, setbacks, and self-doubt, especially when it feels like the world is against them. And I think that sounds familiar to a few people in this audience. Superhero stories have always been there for me personally, as a young, confused, and awkward girl growing up in the burbs and not quite fitting in. And they've been there for so many people. They have and always will be the champion for the misfits and the misrepresented. Ms. Marvel is just the latest defender of that cause. And not just for Muslims, for anyone who feels like they don't belong, who feel like they must fulfill other expectations of themselves. Because fundamentally, this series is about telling a new story, one untold by the media, one that breaks stereotypes, of course. But beyond that, one that reminds us that like any society or any group, we cannot and should not be defined by others. Kamala Khan is just one aspect of the Muslim American experience, as am I, as are you. So let us move past labels and start telling our own real and complex stories of who we truly are so that we can connect with one another, not just as Muslims, but as human beings, as our real authentic selves. Who would have thought that a comic book could actually do that? So thank you so much for this amazing honor. I so appreciate it. Thank you.